When I was thinking of this concept, it's because I had somewhere to go. I was going to a YouTube event. I had a chance to meet with other creators, executives at YouTube, as well as some companies and companies that I work with. So that was really fun. So I did want to look nice in person, not necessarily on camera, but in the event that I was going to have photos taken, I wanted to not be shiny. So I did want it to look a little bit more perfected, but not like I had a lot of makeup on. So again, in person, just really nice, effortless makeup that was gonna last and look pretty all day. So the word that came to mind was fail-safe, and I looked it up. It's a system or plan that comes into operation in the event of something going wrong or that is there to prevent such an occurrence. I chose this makeup with the intent to address the second part of that definition, which was that it is there to prevent the occurrence of something going wrong. I didn't want anything to go wrong with this makeup, and these are things that I've had for a long time and have relied on to perform, and that's how they ended up here, and they really did perform really well. So I wanted to share with you what I ended up selecting, which were somewhat surprising, I think, because you haven't seen some of these products in a while and I haven't actually used them for a while, but it doesn't mean they aren't reliable. They are definitely reliable, and that's why I pulled for them. So let's go ahead and get started. Since my skin has been a little bit crooked here, hold on. It's always a little tilted. Why? It's like lopsided. I used one of these little tulip tints to balance out the camera. Is it still a little? Hold on. Okay, we're very high tech here, so got this here. I did want to say though, so my skin has been on the surface dry, and I think it's from the tretinoin. So makeup has been a little bit tricky because it will show more texture just because it's been dry. So I wanted to go in with something really hydrating, and I'm so impressed with this. This is the Chantecaille 24 Gold Cream Intense, or Creme Intense Cream. This is the newer version of it, and I love the gold line, but it's really emollient, really beautiful, very hydrating, has a bit of like a gold tinge. And no, I have not tried I know I had a question about it. There's the Rose Glow Skin Tint, that one, and then there's like a bronze version, and then now they have a gold version for the holidays, which I really would like to try. But this one has a little bit of a glow, so I have to compare them. But it's just so smooth going on and really keeps my skin hydrated. So I did start out with this, and I let it sink in for about 45 minutes. I went in quite generously with it and then waited a little while for it to absorb, because I didn't want my skin to get kind of parched throughout the day, which is what I've noticed it's been doing. So this was a nice solution for that, because I knew it was gonna be a long day and I wanted the makeup to look nice from beginning to end. I did bring a little bit of the rose water in my bag just in case, but I didn't need it. Then I went in with, of course, just a bit of this mattifying primer by Chanel just in the center. And you'll see a lot of products I haven't talked about in a while. So I think as much as I really enjoy new products and they become favorites, when it comes down to something like, I really need this makeup to stay intact all day and not have to worry about it, and this is up close makeup in that it wasn't for photos. I skipped the photo opportunity this year because I didn't love my photos last year, but they turned out cute. I saw some other people's photos. I should have done it, but it's okay. So I knew I wasn't going to be taking photos per se, but I was gonna be meeting people in person. So I wanted really pretty, like a no makeup look, but perfected skin. I knew other companies would be there too that I would probably meet. So I just wanted to look like I look here, which is pretty natural. So this might be one of the surprises what I went in with under the eye, because I have so many under eye concealers that I love. And I don't know why, I'm looking at it right now. I would have brought like Camouflage Stylo. I would have brought it by Chantecaille. I love it. It's really fluid. It's one of those that looks really lovely after many hours of wear. It's just Chantecaille products are so nice for that. It looks really pretty in person. But I brought this, the new Westman Atelier concealer. And I went in with my concealers first. So just going under the eye. So I was surprised that this is the one that I went for in terms of a fail-safe, because I don't have as much experience with it, but the experience I have had with it has been positive. Also, it's easier to travel with. Like the Chanel one in the jar is a little bit harder to travel with for the under eye. Let me get my eye brush. Okay. So I did take this number 71 and the Fall Sephora savings event is usually around this time of year. They usually have a couple of sales. So actually let me know what you want me to talk about for that sale. I have some ideas, but let me know what you would like me to focus on. There's so much to focus on there, but I think there are some new products that really I came to love this year that are carried at Sephora. And some of those are only carried at Sephora, except for on the site, like the company's site. Okay, so just a little bit, but also not too much of this. Because if my under eye area is dry, it can catch a little bit. So maybe prep well if you know what kind of skin type you have. But if there's a little bit too much moisture, it's a kind of a trickier balance with this concealer, but once you figure out the balance, it's really lovely wear on it. Okay, then I went in with Clé de Peau concealer. Out of all of my concealers, this is the one that time after time has performed well over time. So that's why, as much as I'm loving my newer concealers, I just didn't completely trust them. In terms of the climate, it was a little bit different than what I'm used to, and as well as being inside all day versus outside, there were so many factors. So I thought this one has really stood the test of time in terms of wear in all kinds of conditions. So this is Honey, and I went in with it first. And if you can see here, I'm going in pretty generously on those spots. Okay, so then for the foundation, now I brought the Chanel foundation, the Le Temps, because I know that has performed really well under lots of pressure, especially all that rain. But it wasn't going to be rainy, and I thought I need my skin to look really nice and not parched. So I know that this has performed really well for me time after time in many different conditions. And it's one that has been at the top of my list more than just 1 year. This is the Chantecaille cushion, and I have mine in wheat. So I have wheat and nude, but wheat right now, because it's a little bit more close to summer, I'm a little bit more tan. So I did use the sponge here, and it looks like this. And remember, there's a backup in there. If you have never used this before, there's a backup in the box. So just make sure you don't throw that away. But then I just pressed it in. Like, I didn't even blend here. And it was really fast too. And if you see, oh, there's a video, maybe I'll put a clip here, where we went out to breakfast before the event and my skin looked really nice. And this is what I had on. So I think the iPhone camera does a really good job of capturing really what something looks like. So I'll put that clip here, but it looks like skin, like the finish looks like skin. I am using the little pad that comes in here because I was traveling, and actually the finish is nice. I wish it didn't feel like, it feels a little flimsy, but the result is very nice. So this was my foundation for the day. And this really did perform so nicely. And it wasn't until after I completed my makeup and I was talking in the vlog, just kind of going over my makeup, what I had on, that I realized I completely forgot SPF. There was only one time of the day we had lunch outdoors, but there were umbrellas and I just faced away from the sun. But then I wonder too if that also helped my makeup perform really nicely. But I would not do this if I had to be outside all day. This would definitely have a layer of SPF underneath. And then if I needed more concealer, I just went in like this with the concealer. What also works well here is to use the shade Nude, but I needed a new one. I did bring it with me so I could show you. That also works as a concealer on me, but this was just a quick combo. And then it's really flat with the skin. So if you have this, try it out and see how you can kind of sandwich that concealer in there depending on how much you need. And then it just becomes seamless because of this sponge right there. Just presses everything together really nicely. So I've also got Nude here. I just brought the refill with me. And yeah, sometimes there's some underneath, like if you turn it over and get some product. Yeah, definitely need a new one of these though. And I just put some on my finger like that, and then I will press it in to that darkest area. It works better when I have some. Like, this is pretty sad how very little there is in there, but it does a nice job of concealing also, and it's a very thin layer. I need a new one. Let's go in with bronzer. So you can see that's a really pretty finish. You can see the light kind of bouncing off the surface. It's not powdered. I think that may be a surprise too, what I ended up powdering with. Just a little bit of powder, but it's something I haven't used in a really long time. I'll tell you why I used it, but we went in with this Hermes bronzer. It's a really pretty natural one. And I did bring this Sonia G brush. Just a little bit of bronzer for some dimension, but not too much at all. I feel like we are very bright in terms of lighting. Let me scoot back a little. Then eyebrows, of course. I went with something really natural. I went in with Victoria Beckham Baby Blade because it's a little bit less dense when I apply this because it is such a thin pencil. So it allows me to let a little space show through each little bit that I add on versus a solid line of brow product. Brows are filled in, but not super filled in, but you can see there's now some kind of frame for my face. Otherwise, my brows are so light, but I don't actually apply that much, or I don't think I do. Then I went in with this Jones Road Beauty in Clear. Speaking of Jones Road Beauty, I was having the loveliest conversation with Tamara from Tamara's Timeless Beauty. And then I also met, it's Beyond 50 Skin is her channel. And we were having the best time. Mostly I don't feel like I fit in with people on YouTube. So I was so happy to be able to meet them because they are people that I would just hang out with. And while I was talking to them, the Jones Road Beauty reps came and found us. And so it was really nice to finally meet them because I communicate with them on email. So it was really nice to meet them, and they told us about some things. Don't worry if you're watching, I'm not going to say exactly what it was, but they did say there are some exciting things coming up in 2025. So I'm really looking forward to those very exciting items. So stay tuned if you're a Jones Road Beauty fan. But this brow product is so lovely. And I told them that this was my favorite product of theirs, both the clear for something like this and also the tinted one in light brunette. Also, we had questions about the balm, you know, that like very emollient balm that Jones Road is known for. The ladies that we were talking to, the reps that we were talking to, say they will also use it like kind of like I use it as a highlighter on the cheekbones, which makes a lot of sense because I've got combo skin. But I think drier types really, really love that product. And I can see that because it's really hydrating. So yeah, it was fun to meet them. So if you are watching, thank you so much for coming up to us and saying hello. It was really nice meeting you. Coming together, and I haven't yet powdered, but look how it has dried down. There is no like tackiness to the skin. Like it's not sticky at all. It has dried down really beautifully. That's another thing I love about this is we are coming upon the festive seasons. This is a really, really beautiful foundation. We're gonna go in with this Trench just to cancel this darkness. I'm not sure what I should do with the eye here, just because I feel like you have seen Bruntalpa so many times. It's almost like the only eyeshadow I put on, but this could work with any eyeshadow like a one and done that I love. So let me think while I do the cheeks, and then I'll pick an eye. Let's go in with a blush. So this blush you have not seen in a while, but I went in with Valentino 09. I love the cream blushes, but my skin has been doing something funny, and I can't tell if it's a combination of SPF and the liquid blushes, like that YSL blush I really loved, really wanted to wear it. And then at the last minute, I just packed this in case and then decided to pull for it because I love the finish of this. It's so pretty. And I know it's a powder versus like a cream blush, but it is so skin flattering and has just the slightest amount of glow, just the slightest amount. So it makes the skin look really healthy, and yet I have not powdered. And I just wanted to make sure I had some like cohesive quality to this and that these dark spots weren't sticking out. I think that was my main concern, was dark spots sticking out. And I always know this one always will do a really good job of blending this in and then kind of doing a little color correcting along the way. And I didn't want to go too heavy on the blush. And I think with those liquid blushes, I love them, but if I'm not careful, I can go overboard very quickly. Oh, I think it was the night before when we had dinner and I applied, I think that's why I changed my mind. I had put on the blush and I looked in the mirror and it was very, very clown-like. So I went ahead and just opted to go with this instead. You can see the color is buildable, but it's much, much slower. So this was my powder, which might be surprising because it was almost like a last minute thing I grabbed for, because I thought, how do I want to set this? Because I don't want it to look powdery. And I knew my skin was being a little bit difficult in that anything I was putting on was like puckering on my skin and getting like a really dry external quality to it. So really was having a hard time. So I thought, let me just powder really lightly, not like dense powder, but also with a little bit of a glow. I didn't want it to look matte, so I pulled this. This is Hourglass Ambient Lighting Powder in Dim Light. Powder in Dim Light. And I just took a little bit, just a little bit like this, and I just went right here, right in the front. But if you look at my pores, they are so smooth right now. Really smooth. But just to really give that a seamless, really pretty skin finish. Yeah, it's lovely. And then really it's eyeshadow, mascara, and a lip, and that's it. So it was very simple. And I think sometimes in the arena of fail-safe makeup, it's almost better to go with less makeup because then there's less to go wrong. That's my thinking. The more things I put on my face, the more can go wrong. So I liked the simplified look. I was tempted to go with something like this, but I wasn't sure. I thought it might be shiny if I was in photos. So I was trying to strike a balance between really natural looking, but in the case there was going to be photography, I wanted to make sure that it was not shiny in the places I didn't want it to be shiny. Okay, and then speaking of that, I did go in because I noticed right before I walked out the door, my eyeshadow, my eyebrows were a little bit, it was like shiny right here. So I went in with the Face Defender, this no powder setting product. And I just went in between the brows like this. I didn't want it to look powdery, and right above the eyebrows. And that's it. And that was the extent of my powder. Okay, now, okay, let me think about an eye. Do I want to do burnt top again? Or should I mean, I have so many eyeshadows. Let me see if I can find something interesting. Okay, this was probably my next choice anyway. So it's a eyeshadow stick. These are really nice if you have a long wear kind of situation. This one's a Caramel by Victoria Beckham. And we're just gonna go right on the eyelid really quickly. That's my husband doing dishes. If you hear water and dishes, thanks, babe. Yes, he very nicely makes dinner for me so that I can do this. He does lots of other things so that I can do this, but that is one of the things he does so that I can film and get videos out. Because otherwise, I don't know if we'd eat. We'd probably have cereal for dinner. And then this is really fun. So you can build that one up or go in really lightly like I did. This is the amount that I would go with in terms of intensity for something like the event I went to. So this is Allure Mercier in Moonlight. Put that in the center. I just have a little bit on my hands here. Like this combination is very similar to what I did, but it's a little bit more like brownie toned versus grayish toned. Then I'm gonna go in with this by Hermes, which is what I did. And then I just like, this is an eyeliner. It's really pretty. And then I start here and then I go to the end. And that's it. Then we go in with some Faux Longest Lash Mascara. Still need to get another full size here. Yeah, this is definitely fail-safe mascara. It always looks really nice. So you can go like that, really natural, but of course I build it up. Okay, I'm just gonna brush through a little of my brows first. Okay. And then for lip, I did go in with 05 by YSL. But again, that's something I've been wearing all the time, but I always travel with this one too. I consider this another fail-safe product because it's got hydration and it's not really deep, so if something goes out of the lines, it's fine, and it's easily reapplied without a mirror. But I brought my little mirror. This is a really nice texture. Yeah, this one's beautiful also. This is Bourbon Rose Lip Chic by Chantecaille. Yeah, and if I wanted to, I would put on next, and I don't know where it is because I brought it with me, but I would put on something like the Victoria Beckham Balm in Pearl, just on the cheekbones and on my nose if I wanted something just with a little bit of glow. But I don't think I wore it that day because I think I just forgot, but I did bring it. That is it for my fail-safe makeup, and this wore so beautifully throughout the day. I didn't have to think about it. I don't think, did I repowder? I may have touched up just a little bit here, just absorb a little bit of oil right in the center, but I didn't have to do anything. Like, I brought the little version of the Waterfresh tint just in case, because if you have been here before, you know I will use it to emulsify makeup to make it smooth again. And I use that to refresh certain parts of my makeup because I knew this was from 8 o'clock all the way until 7. So it was almost a 12, no, was it 8? Just kidding. It was 9:30 to about 7. I think we left around 6:30 though. So it was a pretty long day, and this makeup needed to look nice the whole day. And I brought this little Chantecaille back with me with my makeup in it, little bits of it, like a little bit of the powder, blush, concealer, just in case. Oh, speaking of concealer, how did I forget this? I was so busy thinking about something else that I forgot to add my concealer to the exterior of my eyes, because I definitely did that. But eyeshadow stick is really nice for long wear makeup also because it doesn't move once it sets. But not all eyeshadow sticks stay in place. Some stay a little bit too malleable for me, so I need one that sets. And this Victoria Beckham one does set really nicely. So that is my fail-safe makeup, and as it says here, it's a system or plan that comes into operation in the event of something going wrong, and actually that would be this product right here. This is fail-safe in the event something goes wrong, or that is there to prevent such an occurrence. And so this type of makeup prevents that from happening, so I didn't have to use that. So what is your fail-safe makeup? I'd love to know. What do you really count on when it matters? Because I think with access to all this makeup, it is really interesting what I decided to take with me. And they were kind of last minute picks, actually. A lot of them were last minute things I threw in there. If you saw my vlog, I did not initially have them in there, but I decided to take them at the last minute, and I'm glad I did because that's what I ended up wearing, and everything turned out really nice. So do leave what your fail-safe makeup is down in the comment section below, and leave your skin type because I think that has a lot to do with it. But that is it for today's video, so please take care of each other, stay well if you enjoyed this video. If you learned something, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and I will see you next time. Versus something like the this one's in Caramel by I went in with something really natural, Jones Road Beauty, and no, this is not Jones Road.